Oscar November 4ISS. This is Oscar Romeo 4ISS. Over. Oscar November 4ISS. This is Oscar Romeo 4ISS. Over. Oscar November 4ISS. This is Oscar Romeo 4ISS. Over. Oscar November 4ISS. This is Oscar Romeo 4ISS. Over. Oscar November 4ISS. This is Oscar Romeo 4ISS. Over. November 4ISS is Oscar Romeo 4ISS. Over. Oscar November 4ISS. This is Oscar Romeo 4ISS. Over. I think I heard you. Over. Oscar November 4ISS, hello, this is Oscar Romeo 4ISS, over, I got you, loud and clear. Very nice to be with you in Spain, I'm ready for questions, over, on channel 12. Hi, Maria. So most of us have some science, technology, math, or engineering backgrounds when we're up here. Doctors, scientists, pilots, we all have that type of background. Over. So thank you for the question. You know, I'm feeling pretty great because I can fly sort of like a bird, but it's almost like swimming in air. So it's actually a lot of fun, but it takes a little adaptation or getting used to. Over. That's a great question. We have thrusters or engines on the back, and we can put in the computer how much we want to fire those thrusters so we can stay in orbit. So we actually just operate it with the computer, not with a hand controller. Over. So right now, great question, right now we are packing up a spacecraft to take a lot of science experiments home, including ones with DNA, ones with genes, figuring out DNA and genes in space. Also all sorts of biology experiments, all sorts of experiments on new materials. Over. great question. So, physically, being in good shape and being healthy so your body can adapt to being in space and adapt to coming home is one thing. Psychologically, I think the biggest thing is being part of a team. We are all working together up here and also with our remote teams on the ground. So those are the biggest characteristics. And I think, just having a sense of curiosity and adventure. Over. Great question. So if we always have our spacecraft lifeboat docked to the space station in case there's any emergency. We would be able to get into our lifeboat and come home. Over. That's a very good question. No, every single day we wake up and we see what tasks we have, and they might be different. They might be working on an airlock, like one of my colleagues is doing right now. Another one is loading a spacecraft. I'm talking to you. We might be getting ready for a spacewalk. So every day, all the tasks are different. Over. Great question. It's hard not to look at the Earth all the time because it's right out the window, and we are flying 5 miles a second over the Earth. So we see the Earth curvature, we see all the continents, we see ice in the wintertime, we see different algae blooms in the ocean. The moon is just crystal clear because there's no atmosphere to make it look a little hazy. Over. I would love to go to Mars, but I actually want to be able to come home. So that is one thing that we're working on, how to get there, how to be able to live there sustainably, and then how to come home. So once we figure that out, then I'd go, for sure. Over. Well, the first time I couldn't actually believe it was happening until the rocket lit and we lifted off the planet. And then I was just so filled with joy knowing that, wow, after a lot of years of study and work, we're finally going to space. And when I got here, it was just really fun to be able to fly in space. And I think that was the biggest impression I had. And then looking at the planet, then I was like, wow, this is incredible. Over. Well, Luca, luckily enough, most of the food is already completed. Some of the food we just put in the oven and heat up. Some of it is dehydrated, so we just have to put some hot water or cold water in, like a coffee or a tea, and then we can drink it or eat it. So it's not that much preparation, but it's more like what things you choose. We have meats, we have veggies, we have side dishes, pasta and rice, so I like to change up what things I eat together. Over. That's a good question. I just got off of the bicycle and I have to go take a quote-unquote shower. I put hot water in a bag and then I put it into a hygiene towel and then I do a towel bath down. I dry up and then I can put my clothes on. Hair is a different story. It takes a little longer. Maybe twice a week I wash my hair. Over. So I think the question was about sleeping in space. Is it comfortable? Sort of, but you have to get used to it. But actually, after you get used to it, you don't have any aches and pains by sleeping on your side or your back or something for too long because there's nothing to push you down. So it is very comfortable. Over. We have a radio and a phone, and we can also take video calls up here with our families, and so I see them on the weekends, which is nice. Over. I've never been bored up here. There's always something to do. There's a lot of work to do, which is fun. You can do your work upside down, like even cleaning the space station, which we do on Saturdays. But I also write a journal while I'm up here. Over. No, great question. You don't, but the interesting thing is we have the lights of the space station on one plane, and so we use that as the up, and then where there's no lights as the down. But it's only really for a reference, to find our spacecraft in case we have an emergency. Over. So when you first come up here, you do have to adapt, and that's part of it, is just feeling a little bit dizzy. But You can't get away from microgravity while you're up here, and so you get used to it, and you adapt to it. The same will happen when we go home and come back to Earth. Over. Good one. So the water we recycle, and we turn that back into drinking water, which is great. So that's the P.